West Cork. Away from the now increasing road traffic noise, there is something very peaceful here by the banks of the Argadine River. The bright spring sunshine is gradually warming the chilly air as the crystal clear water flows gently by. Peace is a gift from heaven, and the first words of the risen Jesus to his disciples. But as we will soon learn, it hasn't always been peaceful here. As we pass by the footbridge, we make our way along this country lane to discover the Castleview Mills complex. Just 5 kilometres northeast of Clonakilty, I wonder who first travelled this way over 250 years ago, surveyed the site and realised its potential to power a mill. By cutting across the natural corner of the river course and creating what is now called the island, a 12-foot head drop was achieved to power the mill. Amazingly, this mill is still operational, and according to UCC industrial archaeologist Colin Rinn, it is probably the best preserved mill in County Cork and ranked among the top 5 in Ireland. I've arranged to meet and be kindly shown around by Joe O'Leary, the 7th generation of direct descendants of the original mill operators.
But it's just this thing that, like, from a very young age, I was drawn to the story of the mill. This big old building. I was lucky enough, my uncle Pat was the last miller. He died in 1995. So we'd struck up, I suppose, we were quite good friends, and he was a historian. There was a famous eviction here in 1886, kind of, where an ancestor of ours resisted eviction. That was widely reported at the newspapers at the time, as far as, the London Illustrated News is some amazing images.
It was anything but peaceful here back in 1886 in what became known as the Siege of Hurley's Mill. The order had been given to evict Tim Hurley, and despite many worthy attempts to meet the landlord's uncompromising demands, Tim decided to barricade himself inside the mill. Those were very difficult times in Ireland, and far from peaceful. The door of the mill still preserves the names of those who worked here.
F. Hurley here, I don't know if you can see that there. And there's Pat Hurley. So they're sons of Tim Hurley, he was evicted in 1886. Eventually, it took 2 attempts to get him out. They eventually got him out, and he would have he removed all the staircases. He booby-trapped the lofts. There was about 2,000 and 3,000 people in the fields around the mill. My dad still has the eviction horn. A neighbour went up the side of the hill when the eviction party was coming, blew the horn. All the neighbours came in support. So very dramatic scene,
Traps were set, crowds were held back. The eviction attempts failed, but Tim was caught later that evening. But even the mill itself could create quite a hum when it was operational. Let's go inside to see the original milling stones. These were last operated by Joe's uncle up until 1995.
Or would have been 40, 50 years ago. Yeah. But you can see the chute on top, so the grain would go in the top, and it kind of shakes. You can see there's kind of a chute in beneath that.
Yeah, brings it down to the middle of the...
Exactly, so if you look at this one, so the grain goes in the centre here. Yeah. Okay, these are spinning. I'd have to double check, but I think it's about 160 RPM, so they're going pretty fast.
They're flying it,
and they're heavy. Yeah. And even my dad talks about when his bedroom wasn't so far from here up through the building, and as a child going to sleep or waking up to the sound of the millstones.
Maintaining the millstones was a very important job. Joe gives us insight into the specialised tools and skills involved, including how magnets were once used.
So this is actually called French burr. So it's a very hard stone from France.
Wow.
And it's called a composite because you can see it's joined. It's made up of sections of stone, and it's joined. The trade of the millwright, one of his tasks would be to dress the stone. So these are called furrows. So they'd have to be chiseled by hand. So these are the tools of the trade. So I actually dressed this stone with my uncle before he died. And it very slow, very tedious, you just sit yourself on the stone, and you just have to work your way, very slow, very careful. Bits of steel sticking in your skin, every now and again. And it's that hammer there. Now you can see that would be for, it's all kind of.
Oh, look at that! Yeah.
For kind of once you've your furrows done, you'd use that then for getting, I suppose, for kind of leveling, getting a nice level.
Wow.
And then things in like a stick with soot, and you'd run it around the edge, and any high points they'd
to show off where the high points were. Wow, wait.
There's an apple wood bearing in the centre, the top stone is turned upside down, put down, balanced.
What's this thing supposed to be?
That's where the flour goes.
Oh.
Yeah. So when this is spinning, so I guess just the way it's designed, and with the centrifugal force of the stone spinning, you've got the crushed grain will just come to the edge. You've got the casing will be down around the outside here, and the flour and bran will naturally come along here, and it's down this hole here.
Yeah, down below.
Then down below, there's
a bag or something.
There's actually you can go straight into a bag, or there's a camshaft run off the turbine as well, and there's a shaker and a magnet. So a magnet would catch any bits of filament or metal, and the flour would go. It would just shake out, separate the flour from the bran.
Let's go out and around the mill to where the water wheel once operated. Originally, a breast-shot water wheel once powered this mill, but this had to be changed, as the vibrations of the water wheel made cracks in the wall, as you can see here, back around by the side of the mill.
And that's my biggest concern at the minute, that crack. So that crack is there well over 100 years. The water wheel was removed in 1918 because they felt big mechanism, a lot of vibration off it, that was causing that crack. And you can see there's a whole row of windows which have been removed and built up, so it's quite it's substantial enough, But at the time they removed the water wheel, there's actual metal stays going from front to back to hold the wall, and the turbine came into being then in 1980.
Time really has left its mark on this building.
So 1945, so it was the day my uncle Pat heard that World War II had ended. He carved that in there. It would have been 24 at the time. And then my brother, the year Pat died. So, and then there's an unknown.
I hope you are beginning to see Joe's affection for the well-being of the mill. He already has impressive experience in restoring and conserving the buildings. He developed this storehouse adjacent to the mill into this tastefully developed dwelling house. In many ways, Joe is bringing about a gradual resurrection of this site. Compared to the video I made last month, showing the overgrowth of the forgotten head race we saw at Shannon Vale Mill just up the road from here, Joe has gone ahead and cleared out his mill streams and got the water flowing again. He now plans to redevelop the floodgates, matching them the best he can to the original wooden gates. In an ideal world, what would your vision be for this place?
Just if I didn't have to worry about money, just conserve what's here and just enjoy it, develop it, keep in mind it, share it. There's a nice, maybe there's lots you can do from, I suppose there's accommodation possibilities, there's education possibilities.
Joe is working hard to conserve, restore and resurrect this unique mill complex. He has plans to develop these workmen's cottages with the hope of opening them up as accommodation to the public. The old living quarters in the mill include an open fireplace that can make an attractive snug to pass time with friends and family. The upper levels of the mill could yet be restored. Indeed, he is even thinking this place could be redeveloped into a type of retreat centre. All these great ideas could work simply because this place, as it is being brought back to new life, has a unique, timeless and tangible peace. Jesus' first words to his disciples when he came back to life were, "Peace be with you." Peace is Jesus' gift to all who believe in him. Peace with God. And now, an open channel of forgiveness made possible through the dirty work of the cross makes way for the flow of God's peace into our lives. Do you believe in Jesus? Then his peace is for you today too. Peace be with you. In the next video we make about the mill, we will see inside the water turbine and how it works to power the mill. We will also explore the unspoilt meadows surrounding the mill that give refuge to a huge diversity of fauna and wildlife. Until next time, God's peace be yours. Amen.